The unidentified vessel drifted toward Earth, its metal skin scared and broken. On the moon, Earth's deep space watchers noticed it first. "Director Kim, please look," said Lieutenant Park, pointing at his screen. "We've never seen energy readings like this before." Director Kim Jun walked over, his face serious but calm. After 20 years watching space for Earth's Unified Space Command, he knew not to panic. He studied the strange readings carefully. "Send our greeting message," he ordered. "Use all languages we know. Try all radio bands." For 3 days, they'd waited for an answer. Finally, Commander Lee Su took her ship, the UES Horizon, to meet the mystery vessel. As her ship connected with the damaged craft, everyone held their breath. The airlock door opened slowly. Commander Lee's hand rested near her weapon as the first aliens humanity had ever met stepped through. They were nothing like humans had imagined. The beings stood tall, their bodies covered in shimmering scales that caught the light. Each had 4 glowing amber eyes that blinked in pairs. Their limbs were long and graceful despite their obvious weakness. "We are Viridians," said their leader through a small device that translated their complex sounds into human language. "We need your help. Our people are dying." The leader called himself Tak. His voice sounded flat through the machine, but Commander Lee saw the desperation in his strange eyes. Tak explained their story while his fellow Viridians leaned weakly against the walls. They had once belonged to a powerful empire that ruled many star systems. This empire believed in keeping apart from all other life forms. Contact with other species was forbidden. "Some of us believed this was wrong," Tak said. "We thought we should learn from others, share knowledge. For this thinking, they sent us away." The exiled Viridians had wandered space for many years. Now a terrible disease was destroying their genetic code. Without advanced medical knowledge, they couldn't find a cure. "It attacks our DNA," Tak explained, using words his translator found in human biology. "Our children suffer first. They are dying even now on our colony ships." Commander Lee watched one of the Viridians struggle to remain standing. Their scales, which should be bright and colorful, looked dull. Another alien helped its friend to sit down. "How many of your people are there?" Lee asked. 300 remain," Tak answered. "Once we were thousands." Lee knew her next decision might change human history forever. These beings had technology far beyond Earth's. Their ships could travel between stars. But they also carried an unknown disease. Bringing them to Earth could be dangerous. "Why come to us?" she asked. "We're still new to space travel." Tak's 4 eyes blinked slowly. "We have watched your broadcasts for years. Your people solve problems in ways we never imagined. You adapt, you cooperate, and you show compassion even to strangers." Commander Lee thought of the children on those colony ships, their bodies failing while their parents watched helplessly. She thought of what humanity might gain from meeting these beings. She also thought of the risks. In the end, the choice seemed clear. "We'll bring you to Earth," she said firmly. "Our scientists will study your disease. We can at least try to help you." Relief showed in Tak's alien features. "Thank you," he said simply. As Commander Lee returned to her ship to report this historic meeting, she knew Earth would never be the same. Humanity had just taken its first step into a much larger universe, not through conquest or exploration, but by offering a helping hand to a dying race from the stars. The Viridians settled in a quiet valley surrounded by green hills. The South Korean government had quickly built simple homes for the 300 aliens. Large tents served as medical centers where human doctors worked day and night. Dr. Choi Dae rarely slept. As head of the international medical team, he spent endless hours studying blood and tissue samples from the aliens. Their biology was unlike anything on Earth. Their cells contained strange structures. Their blood carried unusual proteins. "I need to show you something," Dr. Choi told Commander Lee Su during their weekly meeting. He displayed images of Viridian DNA on his screen. "Look at these patterns. The disease is breaking down their genetic code in a specific way. It's complex, but I can see how it works now. Can you fix it? Commander Lee asked. Dr. Choi shook his head. This is beyond my skills. That's why I've asked for Professor Song Min. Lee raised her eyebrows. I thought he doesn't work with others anymore. After 3 weeks of work, he finally called a meeting. The Viridian disease isn't just their problem. Professor Song told the room of scientists and officials. It shows exactly what might happen to humans who travel in space for many generations. The radiation damages DNA in specific ways. By solving their problem, we solve our own future challenge. This could help humans travel to other stars someday. Meanwhile, the Viridians were sharing their knowledge too. Engineer Hanwoo had become friends with Tak. They spent long hours discussing science and technology. Tak showed me how their ships work. Han told his colleagues with excitement. They can bend space. They travel faster than light. With their help, we could reach nearby stars in weeks instead of centuries. Many humans were cautious about the aliens at first, but as they learned more about the gentle, intelligent Viridians, fear turned to curiosity and then friendship. Children were especially quick to accept the strange visitors. Schools organized visits to the settlement where human kids played with young Viridians, despite their different bodies and languages. The Earth Security Council met regularly to discuss the situation. Some leaders worried about taking in refugees from space. Others saw amazing opportunities. The Viridians offer us knowledge that would take us hundreds of years to discover on our own. Engineer Han explained during one meeting. They're grateful for our help and willing to share everything they know. The cooperation seemed perfect. Humans provided medical help while Viridians shared technology. Both sides benefited. Then everything changed. One quiet evening, a forgotten Viridian device in Tak's quarters suddenly activated. It glowed with strange light patterns and made soft chirping sounds. Tak hurried over to it, his scales changing color as he read the message. Commander Lee was meeting with Dr. Choi nearby when Tak burst into the room. All 4 of his amber eyes were wide with fear. The Empire has found us, he said, his translator struggling to convey his panic. They know we're here with humans. They're sending warships. Warships? Commander Lee asked. To do what? Tak's voice was grim. To destroy us all. They call it cleansing the contamination. They will kill every Viridian here, and any human who has had contact with us. The room fell silent as everyone realized what this meant. Earth's first contact with alien life was about to become Earth's first interstellar war. Professor Song's mountain laboratory hummed with activity. Where once a single reclusive scientist had worked alone, now 50 of Earth's best minds gathered. They all focused on one goal, saving the Viridians. The professor rarely left the main testing room. His hair grew wild, and his clothes wrinkled as days passed without proper rest. Only Dr. Choi could convince him to eat or sleep. Look here, Professor Song said, pointing to his screen showing cells dividing. The modified retrovirus enters the Viridian cell and repairs the damaged DNA. It's working. Commander Lee leaned closer. So you have a cure. Almost. The professor rubbed his tired eyes. The virus fixes the damage, but sometimes it changes other parts of the DNA too. We must be careful. A wrong change could hurt them instead of helping. Tak watched quietly from across the room. The disease had started affecting him too. His once bright scales now looked dull. He moved more slowly each day. How much more time do you need? Commander Lee asked. Professor Song shook his head. 2 weeks at least. Maybe more. We may not have that long, Lee said softly. In space, Earth prepared for war. Engineer Hanwoo led the effort to upgrade Earth's ships with Viridian technology. 3 small vessels now carried experimental shields based on alien science. It's not enough, Han admitted as he showed Commander Lee the modified ships. These 3 vessels can't stop an Imperial fleet. We need more time. He might for this. Professor Song Min lived alone in a mountain laboratory. Once famous for his genetic research, he had withdrawn from the scientific community years ago after a personal tragedy. Many called him a genius. Others called him a hermit. When the helicopter landed at his remote lab, Professor Song greeted the visitors with clear irritation. But when Dr. Choi showed him the Viridian samples, something sparked in the old scientist's eyes. 3 days later, Professor Song arrived at the settlement. He walked among the aliens, studying them with curious eyes. He spent hours in the lab, barely speaking to anyone. Around the world, governments argued about what to do. The United Earth Security Council met in emergency session. 50 representatives from different nations filled the room with worried voices. "The Empire is coming to destroy these aliens," said the representative from Brazil. "If we hand them over, maybe the Empire will leave us alone." "We can't be sure of that," argued the Canadian representative. "Once they know we exist, they might attack anyway." "These refugees trusted us," Commander Lee told the council firmly. "They came asking for help. We can't betray them now." The debate continued for hours. Some wanted to hide the Viridians. Others suggested preparing for full war. A few even recommended surrender. Then Tak entered the council chamber. Though weakened by his illness, he stood tall before the human leaders. "My people wish to thank you for your help," he said. "We offer you knowledge in return." He placed a small device on the table. It projected detailed plans into the air above, designs for faster-than-light engines and powerful defensive shields. "This is all we know about travel between stars and protecting ships in battle," Tak explained. "With these plans, you can build vessels that might stand against the Empire." The council room grew quiet as the representatives understood what this meant. The Viridians were giving humans their most valuable knowledge. "Consider it payment for your kindness," Tak said simply, "and perhaps a way to protect yourselves when the Empire comes." The council voted unanimously to defend Earth and the Viridian refugees. Work began immediately. Engineer Han led hundreds of technicians as they modified Earth's best ships with the new technology. They worked day and night, racing to prepare before the Empire arrived. At the same time, Commander Lee created special teams mixing humans and healthy Viridians. They trained together despite their differences. Humans breathing oxygen while Viridians needed a different gas mix. Humans relying on sight, while Viridians used heat sensing and vision. "We must learn to fight as one force," Lee told them. "Our differences can be our strength." Professor Song's team finally had a breakthrough. After many failed attempts, they created a treatment that repaired Viridian DNA without unwanted mutations. "We've done it," he announced, his tired face showing a rare smile. "The cure works. We can save them all." That same hour, Earth's deep space sensors detected movement at the edge of the solar system. Multiple large objects were approaching fast. "They're here," Commander Lee whispered as she studied the sensor readings. "The Empire has found us." 7 massive ships appeared beyond Mars. They moved into a perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. Each Imperial warship was 5 times larger than Earth's biggest vessel. Their weapons glowed with strange energy as they prepared for battle. On the bridge of Earth's flagship, Commander Lee Su stood calmly. Her small fleet of just 5 ships seemed tiny against the Imperial force. These ships had been quickly upgraded with Viridian technology, but they remained untested in real combat. "Open communication channel," Commander Lee ordered. Beside her stood Tak, now recovered from his illness thanks to Professor Song's treatment. His scales had regained their bright colors, but his eyes remained worried as he watched the Imperial ships. "They'll demand we surrender," Tak said quietly. "The Empire believes any contact with other species is wrong. That's why they sent us away." The main screen lit up with the image of an Imperial commander. Unlike the refugee Viridians, this one wore elaborate armor decorated with symbols of rank. His scales were darker, and his 4 eyes showed no emotion. "Primitive species," the Imperial commander said through the translator. "You have been contaminated by contact with exiles. Surrender them immediately, or we will destroy your world." Director Kim Jun, speaking from Earth's command center, tried diplomacy first. "We welcome peaceful contact with your empire," he said. "We've found a cure for the genetic disease affecting the exiles. There's no need for conflict." The Imperial commander's eyes narrowed. "Cooperation between species is forbidden. The exiles must be cleansed. You have 1 hour to deliver them, or we attack." The screen went dark. "They never intended to talk," Tak said. "The Empire doesn't negotiate with other species." Commander Lee nodded. "Then we fight." She turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Move to defensive position Alpha." Earth's 5 ships spread out, taking positions that seemed random to Tak. He had studied Imperial battle tactics all his life, and this formation matched none of them. "What are you doing?" he asked Commander Lee. "Something they won't expect," she answered with a slight smile. When the Imperial deadline passed, their ships attacked without warning. Energy beams cut through space toward Earth's small fleet. But the Earth ships were no longer where they had been. Commander Lee had ordered constant movement, never staying in one place long enough to be targeted. "Head for the asteroid belt," she commanded. Her ships raced toward the field of space rocks between Mars and Jupiter. The Imperial vessels followed, firing continuously. "They're following standard Imperial attack patterns," Tak observed. 3 ships focusing on each target, coordinated fire. Commander Lee nodded. "That's what we counted on." What happened next amazed even Tak. The Earth ships darted between asteroids, using the space rocks as shields. Sometimes they pushed asteroids toward the Imperial ships, forcing them to change course. "No Viridian would fight like this," Tak said with wonder. "Our military follows strict patterns. This is chaos. Controlled chaos," Commander Lee corrected him. "We're smaller and weaker. Our only advantage is unpredictability." Engineer Han Wu's voice came over the communication system. "Commander, we've analyzed their weapon frequencies. I've adjusted our shields to match." 3 Imperial warships surrounded Earth's flagship, all firing at once. Engineer Han activated his modified shields, a combination of Viridian technology and human innovation. The shields glowed brightly but held. For the first time, the Imperial commander looked surprised. "Impossible," he said over the open channel. "Primitives cannot have such technology." The battle continued for 14 hours. Earth's ships darted through the asteroid belt, striking quickly then retreating. They used the asteroids for cover and sometimes as weapons, pushing the space rocks toward Imperial vessels. 2 Imperial ships lost power after taking damage to critical systems. Another exploded when it crashed into a large asteroid while pursuing an Earth vessel. Finally, the Imperial commander gave an order that shocked Tak. "They're retreating," he said, disbelief in his voice. "The Empire never retreats." The 4 remaining warships turned away from Earth, heading toward the outer solar system. On the flagship's bridge, the crew cheered. Commander Lee allowed herself a small smile, but remained watchful. "They'll be back," she said, "with more ships." Tak nodded. "Yes, but now we have time. And the Empire has learned that humans aren't easy to defeat." Professor Song knelt beside the small Viridian child. The young alien's scales had turned dull gray from the disease. Her 4 eyes watched the human doctor nervously as he prepared the injection. "This won't hurt much," Professor Song said gently through a translator. "Just a small pinch." The child bravely held out her arm. Professor Song carefully injected the cure they had worked so hard to create. The treatment contained special viruses that would fix the damaged parts of Viridian DNA. "Now we wait," he told the child's parents. They didn't have to wait long. By the next day, the young Viridian's scales showed hints of color returning. 3 days later, she was running and playing with other children, her scales now bright blue and green. One by one, Professor Song treated all the Viridian children. Then the adults. The results were always the same. Within days, the sick aliens recovered completely. "The cure works perfectly," Professor Song reported to the Earth Security Council. The Viridians will not die out. Their people will survive. Many council members smiled and some even applauded. After facing war with the Empire, this was wonderful news. "What will happen to the Viridians now?" asked one council member. Director Kim Jun stood up. "We have a proposal. The Mars Terraforming Project has created a region suitable for their needs. We suggest offering our friends a permanent home there." The council voted. The decision was unanimous. The Viridians would stay. 3 months later, the first Viridian families moved to their new home on Mars. They named the settlement Turl Vols in their language, which meant new beginning. Engineer Hanwoo led the project to build homes and facilities that met Viridian needs. The aliens worked alongside humans, sharing their knowledge to create buildings unlike any in the solar system before. "Our people once built great cities," Tak told Han as they watched the construction. "Now we can build again." The battle with the Imperial fleet had changed Earth too. Humanity now knew they weren't alone in the galaxy, and that some aliens out there were dangerous. Earth's nations worked together as never before, using Viridian technology to build better ships and defenses. 6 months after the battle, something unexpected happened. A message arrived from deep space. It came from within the Viridian Empire itself. "Some of our people have heard what happened here," Tak explained after reading the message. "They know about the cure for our disease. They know humans fought to protect us. Now they question whether isolation from other species is really the best path." The message revealed that debate had spread through the Empire. Some Viridians now argued openly for change, for contact with other intelligent life. A political struggle had begun that might eventually transform Imperial society. 1 year after the Viridians first arrived in Earth's solar system, a special ceremony took place in orbit around Mars. Commander Lee Su and Tak stood on the observation deck of Earth's newest ship, watching as workers finished building an even more impressive vessel nearby. This new ship was different. It combined the best ideas from both species. Its crew would include both humans and Viridians. Its mission would be to explore together. "What will you name it?" Commander Lee asked. Tak considered for a moment. "In our oldest stories, there is a word, Harun. It means those who journey together." Lee smiled. "Perfect." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the final pieces being attached to the new ship. "My people wandered alone for so long," Tak said quietly. "We came here expecting only basic help, perhaps a temporary shelter. We never imagined finding true friends willing to fight for us." Commander Lee nodded. "Maybe that's what makes humans special. Not our technology or our fighting skills, but our desire to help others when we can." The ship would launch the next month. It would carry representatives from both species to explore the stars together. No longer refugees and helpers, but partners on a shared journey into the unknown. The end.